Testing. Whoa, that's way too loud. Testing 2. Okay. Welcome to episode 94 of Beauty Magazine, the Sims 4 story of a once thriving, now struggling fashion magazine. In our story, it is early 2008. Beauty Magazine is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. However, it's not the magazine that founder Beatrice Ullbright created. A few years back, a large publisher took over her smaller publisher and merged her magazine with another. She hates what was done, but she had no options. But things are about to happen that may change that. So, our series features Sims 4 gameplay. Features sometimes we're building things. And in some episodes, we're working on magazines. We use a website and pictures and such from The Sims 4 to make pretend magazines. Or at least work on them. We haven't really finished any magazines, but, I've kind of added little bits here and there. Made covers and whatnot. And in this episode, I might be doing a little bit of some of that type of thing. I'd like to fix my thumbnail. I like my thumbnail, but I'd like to get something a little bit more magazine looking. I liked what we originally had. That looked really great with the different thumbnails, the different character magazines there. Those look pretty cool. But I think I want to get something a little different. As we're heading in towards episode 100, I'd like to do something. Hopefully we can get some eye catching, get some people watching. Just and a note, as of episode 85, I also occasionally will play American Truck Simulator during the stream. We started that mainly because the Missouri State came out and we were doing the event for that. We finished that. But in that, we've got a character who is working for the 4-2 print company, which it's kind of like Vistaprint, it does promotional items and paper loads and whatnot. So I'm kind of pretending it's a paper company of some sort. And at some point we will use some of that gameplay to tell our story also. The truck driver in that game, Colt Cooper, is the younger brother of our former publisher, Charlie Chambers. When Beatrice first started Beauty Magazine, let's click on that. When she first started Beauty Magazine, Charlie Chambers Publishing was her publisher, and it was a small publisher that just, liked what Beatrice had proposed and took a chance and went ahead and published it. And it, for a small-time magazine and a small-time publisher, it got fairly popular. Enough so that Regency Publishing wanted to take it over. It's like, them big corporate ones, they like to get all jealous of what they don't have already and just buy it all out. You know, I mean, if you're just small potatoes, you know, they're not going to worry about you. But when you've got something going, well, so beauty magazines started to make a name for itself, especially with some of the people that were on the covers and some of the designers and stuff that were featured. You know, so, you know, things happen. Okay, so when we left off, we were at the main office here, and we were kind of, you know, playing around with the interns and whatnot, doing the, you know, and dealing with the roommate intern complaining about the noise and whatnot. And we, well, first we kicked her out, and then we asked her to come back. So, because I changed my mind on that, because part of the story could be that Julia is the spy. At some point, somebody is either a spy, or will at least they'll think that there's a spy who is stealing article ideas and model ideas and whatnot, and giving them to other magazines so that the other magazines can scoop and get those articles on their magazines and in them and whatnot before Beauty can do it. Who are we close with? I mean, we got some friends going here with Julia and Mikey. I'm gonna say Mikey. I don't know if that's her name or not, but you know what? Let's type that into Google and see what they say the pronunciation is of it. Well, I don't want you, because I'm in a video. No. Where is just a simple, like, text pronunciation? Okay, here you go, wiki. Maika. Ah, hell. Let's just do it. Mike. So it's Mike. Her name's Mike. Oh no, YouTube will be like, oh, we heard some sort of thing in your video and it's not supposed to be in your video and blah blah blah, and now we have to kill your video. Oh well. Yeah, let's get a sip of coffee. And get one of these cough drops going. I'm still trying to get my voice back. Hi. So I've been thinking about this the last day or so. You know, because I didn't do an episode. I haven't had an episode each day because I've been doing some other things. Letting my voice rust a little bit too. But, oh, that's Beth. Or, Brooke. And, we got Rocky. And, Caroline. Jocelyn. So there's some things I want to happen. Because the magazine's got to evolve. It's got to have some struggle. It's got to have... This is like the pivotal year in this magazine. Because our founder is out with cancer right now. She's dealing with her cancer treatments and whatnot. Nobody here knows she's doing that. They just think she's taking time off and taking some vacations and doing some travel. And Jocelyn here is still, you know, mentally coming to grips with the fact that she's running this magazine by herself, really. She doesn't even realize it. Because at the moment, it's like, you know, she figures she's just doing a little more work than usual, and Beatrice is still going to be checking in with her. She doesn't realize how little time Beatrice is going to be spending at this magazine. And it's going to start to hit Jocelyn a little bit that it's like she really is needing to be in charge and keep this ship going. Let's change you into something else. What's your everydays? Let's put that up. Alright, everybody get back to what you were doing. Uh-oh. Wally? Yeah. Jocelyn's gonna take that on. Alright. Julia, let's mentor you. Let's get you back into something a little more, yeah, put that on. Hello, get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Stop chatting and get up. Oh, really? Is the business still open? Okay, so the business is still open.
Kinifrina, Sasi Siwa, Kuzo Broga, ta-da!
Okay, you don't have anybody. Wait a minute. Well, no, because yeah. Is there anybody over here? Yeah, there's people over here. Oh, Chambers is here. Okay, Jocelyn, I want you to come over here and meet her. I think that's important.
We sit in a row. Oh, Gosha.
Okay, so you're talking to Charlie. That's important. You're just kind of... And then... Sanuk Baradu. I mean, we basically have, like, a library here. You know, that's pretty much all we did was just, you know, hey, come to our library and play around with our computers. Okay, there's you. You're probably going to bed. Okay, she's an elder now. But yeah, this is Charlie Chambers, the former publisher. She's kind of getting a little up there. Maybe she was close to retirement when she got bought out. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I mean, well, it's not so much that I don't remember. It's just I haven't quite figured out the complete reason why Regency was able to acquire her. I don't know if they just flat out bought her out because they had more money. I don't know if, you know, she ran out of business. I don't know if she, I mean, went out of business or... But, yeah, so there's a few things that in the last episode, I mentioned that, I was talking about how coming up with some, like, article type, not necessarily articles, but just, like, page features, like a travel photo of the month, like an outdoor nature photo. Um, uh, this is this and that of the month. Positive quote of the month, entertainer of the month, photo of the month. Letting one of the interns or rookie authors write about something and giving their article a chance. Doesn't necessarily have to be about beauty, like a beauty topic. Typical, like makeup and hair and stuff. It doesn't have to be about that. Um, so yeah, but I don't know if she's necessarily gonna. I'd like something to kind of happen first before Jocelyn starts doing that. I I I want something to where when she starts to realize that she's kind of steering the ship, she hasn't quite realized that yet. But when she does, I want her to like start going into like the old issues and looking to see what was in the old issues and starting to come up with her own ideas and you know there's got to be something to spark that. And I got an idea for it, but it just trying to make it come together. The whole reason why I took 2008 as our year was that it was near the end of that and the beginning of the next year when all the housing markets and everything tanked and you know the bailout of the autos and all that and the coffee went skyrocketing and you know I I want something to do. There's something to do with the price of paper going up and all that. And that's gonna be a factor in possible changes coming to the magazine or threats to it or um, especially when they start getting attacked by these whoever's the spy is, scooping the articles and whatnot. All right. Um, let me open some stuff here. Okay. Current cover. Yeah, because I want the point to be with this. I want to focus on the fact that, you know, this is what the magazine used to look like. Simple. And now after being merged, it kind of looks like this. And it's, well, I don't know. This is actually getting back to, you know, because Penny's out here dancing in the rain. And that's kind of, yeah, let's, yeah, I really like that. I really like her pose over here. I really like that. They excited and just, you know, just, I think that came together pretty nice. Okay. Um, what do I want to do here? Well, for starters, this ain't gonna work the way it is. I really don't want to do that, though. How about we resize it here, and then copy it. Okay, when we put it here, that's okay. So yeah, let's line it up with that. We'll do that and that. Okay. So let's open. Okay. All right. Let's take. Okay, 1232 by 758. Okay, but it doesn't quite fit. I'll put that there and move that one over there. I don't think I really like that idea though. Alright, see, that doesn't leave enough room in the middle to say what I want to say. And that's the problem. I mean, I like the idea of having my building there, but that's not necessarily catching the eyes, I guess. I don't know. Right, let's try taking this. See, does this picture here capture what I'm trying to say, though? See, originally we had this thumbnail. Well, after we did the train case. And then I did a little short there. We had that for several episodes. I don't think I changed it until recently with the baby. Yeah, the first time I changed it was when we did the whole move into the farm thing. And then I went back to this and made a note of driving the truck. Yeah, I'm still... I don't know what happened, y'all, but we went from 156 views and 72 views and 43 and 97 to like 2, no, 1, 2. And then in the last week, we got back up to 29 and 26 and 27 and 30. But a couple of these videos, nobody's watching. And at the moment, like, there might be somebody watching this one besides me. So I'm trying to... I want to make a new thumbnail of some sort just to see if I can't get some interest going in this. I realize my episodes aren't always fun to watch and interesting, but you know, I think people were really captivated by when I was messing around with the magazine, and I'd like to get back into that. I just wish I wasn't so freaking tired all the time, and my job is not helping that. You know. But anyway, I'm not gonna harp on that. I mentioned it, and that's what's going on. You see, I gotta be careful with how big I make it, because it's gotta be able to fit on this screen. If I make it too wide, it doesn't show up on the YouTube screen. And I can't make it too tall either. Like, I wish I could make like an animated thumbnail, like, you know, like a flipbook or something, to like say, this is what it was, and then flips over, this is what it is, and then, you know, but can't do that. I could probably make a little more room here. So let's maybe put it about halfway there. Maybe bring it down. Bring it down a notch? No, well, no, I think it's important that we keep it up here. Yeah. We'll just bring it over to here. Okay, and then bring that up to there. Yeah. Now we grab this one. Because we can always close in on this one. Just want to make sure we've got her in the picture. Make sure we got this up all the way. Just want her to... Well, you don't have to do that. You can let it hang over. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I just want you to have the middle section opened up. Is this enough room to write what I need to write, though? If you put a border in there, yes. Let's try that. Yeah. Let's type something out here. Beatrice Ullbright. Do I want to say that? I don't know. Does it fit? I don't know. Okay. All right, let's try that. We'll remove a bit about the truck driving for now, maybe. I mean, we're still gonna do that. I just if I go to drive the truck at some point, I'll just try to remember to put my little mashup thing in the chat. See, it doesn't fit. You're not grabbing the right thing. What are we? This is what I want right here, right? Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. How it's got to fit. Yeah, like all this, I just need to make this fit. I mean, I suppose I could get, maybe I can get magazine back to fit on the same line. Okay. Let's move this up here. I suppose as far as this goes, we can just kind of go like this, and yeah, just do that. Okay. Okay, so let's test it. That doesn't quite do what I needed to do. I might need to move that up a little. Okay, that's a little better. I don't know if anybody's able to read that without Well, we'll see. We'll see if that works. It's still not a perfect story, but I want to do something to get the point across that this is a story about a magazine, and not something else. And I know there's got to be some people out there that are interested in that story. Heck, there's plenty of people that are interested in magazine stuff. Anyway, while we're on that subject, I didn't go in here yet today. I didn't go through the usual intro where it's like where I flip through the, this is the April 2008 issue that we've been working on for most of the series, which is we are 10 years and one issue into the magazine after it's been merged with Blush and Bloom and taken over by Regency Publishing. It's weird because now all of a sudden we're not using this after all this time. But yeah, it's the Sims 4 story of a once thriving, now struggling fashion magazine. They don't know it's struggling yet. That's the point I'm trying to get at with this particular episode is at some point in the near future, the Regency Publishing guy, I forget what his character is, but he's going to have a meeting with Beatrice and then perhaps start talking to Jocelyn directly about, how the magazine is not having good sales lately and changes may be coming and if they don't do better, and then he'll have to make drastic changes, maybe merge them into another magazine or get rid of them altogether or some sort of threat. But yeah, here's my disclaimer. The articles are fake. Anything in here that is an actual article that I've tried to write is meant to be fake. It's not meant to be actual advice. It's, if I got a article about eating peas, can you lose weight eating peas? And the gist of my article is, you can lose a little bit of weight, according to what I've Googled, but it's not really something you'd want to eat all the time. You can get gas and bloating if you eat too many peas. Well, that was kind of tongue-in-cheek because, you got the quick meal option of opening the fridge and eating the bowl of peas. So I'm like, well, that just kind of lends itself to some sort of magazine article. Like, can you lose weight eating peas every day for your lunch? And that's where that came from. So it's like over time we've been kind of working on some stuff. I'm still would love to work on this nail polish article if I could ever figure out what I want to do with it. And then we kind of worked on this cooking together article. I did a lot of work on it, but it's not a whole lot in the magazine yet. This is one of the few articles I've actually finished, but it was really quick. The latest trend hitting the gyms, literally, boxing workouts. But before you lace up things, let's show you the ropes. And, basically, she met Marcus Flex, and, he told her about, you gotta properly tape up your hands and all that good stuff, and, check with your doctor, and wear the proper equipment, and then, I'm left off with locations where there are punching bags at the gyms, and if you don't have the money to buy your own punching bag for home use. And it's a little bit of a shopping article here, and advertisements. I'd like to get back into doing some advertisements. At some point, I'd love to finish this Penny Pizzazz article. The problem is I did so much talking about what would be in the article that it's like I told the story rather than printed it out. Especially after like this many pages. Still would love to get back to that. Love to catch up to the point where she's doing this part, and I'm really happy with what I've done. I'm for somebody like me that has no clue what he's doing. I put together some good stuff here for me. It's a lot of this actually looks like something that you would flip through a magazine and find. And I'm very happy with that. I might not be Beatrice Ullbright, but I created her, and what she does is what I tell her to do, so I guess I'm the one making the magazine. So, maybe I've got a little bit of skill, maybe, but I'm one of these people that tries to believe in being humble, so I don't like acting in any way of any kind of bragging, but it took me some doing to figure out how to do this toothpaste article, but I managed it. We got the I still want to figure out what I did with the rest of the this I was supposed to have laundry machines down here for the May issue. At some point I'll figure out what I did with Excuse me, sorry. I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'll be right back. Oh boy. Okay, so I need to kind of give myself a little bit of a timeline type thing here. Let's type that out, or let's type out a timeline. Okay. Let's save this as the timeline. This is our timeline outline. Okay, so let's type this stuff out that's in my head about the plot moving forward. Because, like, I don't know exactly when these things are going to happen, but it's how I want the story to go. And it's like, I don't want to give it away, but at the same time, it's what this is all about. And we're still left with the question, will the magazine survive if we make the changes? I mean, in a nice world, I'd love to think that this magazine survived, but given the fact that currently in the real world, there are barely any magazines that have survived anything. You got, 4 of them, and it's like, oh, yeah, sure, you can have a magazine, you're willing to pay like $12-15 for it. You used to be able to get a whole year of them things for like $1 each. Oh well. Not that they were worth that much, I mean, again, mostly advertisement and whatever, but still, they existed. So, currently, oh man, I didn't mean to do that. So, what we've done so far in this series, 2008, a March issue went to news stands. Okay. The April issue also just went. Working on May with Sealbond on cover. Okay, H-A-N. Okay. Okay, we have March 1998, first issue with Penny on it. So it is currently still about March of 2008 because it's not April yet because we would have just issued. Anyway, it's got the point. It's about March of 2008. So, it is currently about March 2008. Beatrice Ullbright after feeling worn down, took some time off, and then after passing out in a park, found out she has cancer. She will survive, but will be away from the magazine on vacations to hide her treatments. No one will know she was sick. That's the main story with her. We have Jocelyn, Glamour. Is that how we spell it? One T. One less in Glamour. I'm gonna pop up her picture thingy real quick just so I don't have to explain all this. Where are we at? Jocelyn Glamour is the second in command. She's the managing editor and deputy editor-in-chief. both. That's two different job titles, but she's got them both, and she gets paid both salaries. Because that's the way Beatrice wants it. There used to be two people doing those jobs. I don't have their character. I don't have those characters made yet. I still want to incorporate them into the story somehow. But they were either working for Blush and Bloom, the other magazine that got merged into Beauty, or they were working for other fashion magazines that got brought on board somehow. Maybe Regency hired them to work with her when they bought out the magazine or something. But that managing editor and deputy editor-in-chief were always button heads with Beatrice because they make typical beauty and fashion magazines with the fashion police type style to it, and that's not what Beatrice was trying to make. And she's stubborn. And at some point, Jocelyn here was an intern. Jocelyn had no intention of doing anything with magazines. She hasn't really been into fashion growing up. Maybe she was a bit of a tomboy. Maybe she was more of a I don't want to say a geek. That's not, it's not nice to say that, but maybe she, did more book reading, than magazine reading, but when she went to college, she was going to college for something else. I don't know what, but I don't remember if I said that before or not. But she accepted the internship for college credit to come to the magazine and work for the magazine. And Beatrice just fell in love with her. She did such a great job, even though she's young, and, just handled whatever was given to her and never complained, and, just very professional. Let's put it that way. She's just very professional about doing her job, and when push came to shove, well, Jocelyn graduated college and was about to end the internship, and Beatrice just happened to be arguing with one of the two people at the time and was like, you know what? That's it. I'm firing you. And gave their job to Jocelyn. It's like, Jocelyn, if you want the job, it's yours. I know it seems like a lot, but I know you can handle it. And I don't care if anybody else is jealous of you being young and inexperienced and all that. The job is yours. And then a little while later, the same thing happened with that other person. Like, Beatrice was arguing with them about something and butting heads with them, and it was like, you know what? You can hit the road too. And just, hey, Jocelyn, it's a little bit more work to do, but I know you can handle it. I'll give you the money for it too. Now, I don't know if that's possible in real life or not, because I haven't had that job or jobs. But I did do a thing where I once, I looked up these things. So there are some differences. like a managing editor coordinates, oversees editorial activities of publication, administers daily operations, generating ideas, planning content. They are kind of like an HR person with the hiring and firing. They create and implement deadlines. They're updated on trends, blah, blah, blah. They can equip with skills and management and coaching. So while she may not have been into trends and fashion and all that, she has brought herself up to, she's done her research. She's, Dana's helped her and whatnot. And, everybody gets along with her. So the people that are currently at the magazine get along with her and they respect her because, yeah, she is young and inexperienced, but she does the job and they're happy to help her. They see her talent, and that's the thing about managers who can actually manage and not just boss. You want to work for those kind of people. Okay, I don't know how this happened, but I'm going to fix that. I don't know what the hell. Maybe there's some sort of tool that's actually called that. I wouldn't know. Kind of like a Photoshop or something, but anyway. The deputy editor provides support to a senior editor. They primarily edit and review written materials, supervise writers, manage budgets, timelines. So I've been having her pay the bills and stuff. So there's a little bit, these two descriptions are a tiny bit different. The main thing is, like this one, the top one here is a little bit more of an HR type position with hiring and firing. And the other one is a little more creative. They could very well be the same thing. But in order to have my story, I used two different titles. Because I wanted to get the point across that she's got both titles. If you want to describe Superwoman, you gotta describe Superwoman, and you gotta have the origin story. So yeah, that's her. Was an intern that was never into fashion or beauty. It's not to say that she, didn't like wear makeup or anything. It's just she wasn't like, into it. She did the internship for college. Impressed Beatrice with how well she did and how much workload she could handle. Beatrice, after butting heads with her two senior staff members, fired them and gave their job titles to Jocelyn. In a very short time. She has done well doing the work of two people. Little does she realize she is about to be running the magazine herself, even though Beatrice may not actually tell her she is on her own. Beatrice will still be around about 1 to 2 times per month or issue to quote, put them to bed, as they say in the newspaper business. That is a quote, right? I know I've heard that before. Yeah. Finalizing all edits and ensuring everything's ready for the printing press. Dana Frost. Fashion editor, writer, insider. She knows. She knows people and models and celebs. She has always been able to get into the VIP areas. At least until recently, when she is the main scout when it comes to finding the cover models. She is in her 40s. Just a bit younger than Beatrice. Long-time friend of these. Has written for several magazines. She is a workaholic and always at some stage of a midlife crisis. She had been so busy that she had not visited any family for at least 2 years. No holidays, birthdays, anything. She missed her sister. All right, what was her sister's name? I don't remember. I don't really want to do this. Anyway, she missed her sister's wedding and was not able to visit when her niece Sydney was born a year ago. Recently, she was trying to make up for it. Sydney's first birthday party was to be at her sister's home in Arizona. Dana was going. She had time off and a plane ticket. But at the last second, as she was ready to leave her apartment in San Myshuno, California, an earthquake struck and damage at the airport canceled her flight. Meanwhile, in Arizona, while the baby Sydney and her nanny, I forget his name, but the nanny, the guy, were in the nursery, the rest of Dana's family, her mother, father, sister, and brother-in-law were meanwhile in Arizona, while the baby Sydney and her nanny were in the nursery, the rest of Dana's family, her mother, father, sister, and brother-in-law, were tragically killed by a kitchen fire. The baby and nanny survived, thanks to the nanny's training. few days later, Dana, while receiving the telegram about the tragic events, was met in the hallway of her apartment by the nanny and so we did several episodes on that. And that's the part that was basically inspired by the movie Baby Boom. We even used the house from Baby Boom. I built it. So, that says, Dana Frost, our fashion editor, writer, insider, she knows people always been able to get into the VIP areas, although in actuality I didn't play the game enough for her to do that without teleporting her. She is the main scout when it comes to finding the cover models. She's in her 40s, just a bit younger than Beatrice, longtime friend of Bee's, has written for several magazines. She's a workaholic and always at some stage of a midlife crisis. Lately, she's been getting hangnails every time she touches an apple tree. Yeah, just there's always something going on with her. Yeah, it's funny. You know, she's exactly the character that I was trying to make her into. Sometimes it's really annoying. She had been so busy that she had not visited any family for at least 2 years. No holidays, birthdays, anything. She missed her sister's wedding and was not able to visit when her niece Sydney was born a year ago. Recently, she was trying to make up for it. Sydney's first birthday party was to be at her sister's home in Arizona. Dana was going. She had time off and a plane ticket. But at the last second, as she was ready to leave her apartment in San Myshuno, California, an earthquake struck. And that really happened. It just so happened right after I moved her out of the train case house and into that apartment with the quake zone thingy, lot trait. It was like, not even like a half hour went by. And it's like, oh, shaky, here's the earthquake. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for helping me tell the story. And it was the damage at the airport that canceled the flight. You know, there might have been like trees down at, well, I don't want to say a tree was down on a runway. Maybe a pole fell over it or something, or blew across, or I don't know. Something happened, or maybe damage to the wings of her airplane, or, you know. But her particular flight got canceled. You know, and maybe she was looking into taking a bus. Maybe she, you know, but before that could happen, you know, maybe there weren't any buses available. Maybe, I don't know. It's too late to go back and revisit that and figure out what was going on. But meanwhile, in Arizona, while the baby Sydney and her nanny were in the nursery, the rest of Dana's family, her mother, father, sister, and brother-in-law that she'd never met, were tragically killed by a kitchen fire. It was either the fire or the smoke, but whatever it was, it got them. It was not killer robots. Okay, well, it was actually killer robots, but it was supposed to be the fire. And I kind of read it wrong. Or was it killer robots or killer rabbits? I still can't remember. Either way, it was whatever the thing is when you click on somebody. What? Rabbits. Killer rabbits. Killer rabbits. It was not killer rabbits. Even though I had to do that because the fire didn't work because I didn't have them trapped. But yeah. They died in the fire. The baby and the nanny survived because the nanny had training on, you know, CPR and all that, and, you know, emergency training and getting out of a fire and, you know, making sure to stay low and get out the window and whatever they needed to do. However he got that baby out, he did it. A few days later, after her dad, there was a message or a phone call from her dad during that time that we didn't answer. Well, story-wise, what I did with that is, it turns out that was the authorities trying to use his phone to contact her, and she didn't get that message. But she was in her hallway at the apartment checking her mail, and lo and behold, here comes the nanny holding the baby to hand her over to Dana while she's opening the letter. There's a telegram letter about her family has passed away. So, needless to say, she was devastated and punched in the gut at the same time with being handed the baby. And then the neighbors below her blamed her for the music that her other neighbors, the ones next to her and above her, were doing. Like they also occasionally heard the baby crying and blamed that too. But she got evicted. I just want to say that until recently, when I started watching Baby Boom again, I had always thought that she had gotten evicted from her apartment, because there's a part where, while the song, the Ever-Changing Times song is playing, right at the end of it, she's kind of standing in her apartment with a piece of paper, and she kind of lets it fall to the ground, and I always thought that was an eviction notice. It wasn't until recently that I was able to look at it, because it's sitting right in front of my face on a computer here, that it was a piece of paper that said the food chain on it, and that was the account she was working on and trying to land for her company, her advertising or whatever company she worked for. And it was like she was being given that, and then it was taken away from her because she got too busy with the baby. And it was like, so it was like she's dropping the piece of paper because it's like everything's just slipping away from her. So it wasn't so much that she got evicted, but she did end up either not so much being, they don't show her getting fired in the movie. They took away that account from her and wanted to put her on a easier account, a dog chow account. And she's like, the tiger lady can't work on that. So that's when she decides, you see her walking out of the building with all her stuff, like she cleaned out her desk, and next thing I know, she's moving to the farmhouse in Vermont. So okay, so we did that, and we played that for a while, and at some point I'm going to go back to that. We will have Dana give that baby a proper birthday party that she didn't really have. She'll get a chance to blow out them candles and become an infant or a toddler. And then we'll do the toddler stuff. But we're kind of taking a break from that for the moment. But at the same time, Dana, while still trying to do her job and still trying to schmooze with people and go to the festivals and whatnot, at some point, somebody at the magazine is going to be scooping her articles and all that, and she's going to think it's her fault. And it's going to hit her hard when that happens. She's going to be like, thinking it was because she's taking care of the baby and all that, when in reality it'll be somebody just was spying at the magazine, and we don't know who, we don't know how. It was either somebody at the magazine or somebody in public that saw her with these people. All right. Bear with me for a moment. I'm going to go see if I can quote borrow some of the other cough drops instead of the ones I was using just now, because they're. I'm gonna get some Halls instead of them. Whatever the hell those were, Ludens or Ricolas or. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, so let's type that part. Okay. Misty Miles. The romance slash I'm sorry, but I don't say her name without saying Sweet Caroline. She just Sweet Caroline. Brooke. Water Creek. Recently added. She's entertainment. We have why does it feel like we're missing somebody? Give me my freaking cursor. No, we got them all. All right. Okay. until very recent, was faking it till she made it in regards to writing about sex. She had little or no experience with dating or lovemaking. But after a slip in her shower and hurting her wrist, trying to catch herself, it was suggested that she get some grab bars installed. As fate would have it, a nice young man named Wally Cornelius I'm spelling that wrong. No, Corn, Elius. Alright, okay, well, that's how it's spelled. Alright. Wally Cornelius. That is a character named after Wally the robot, and Cornelius Hackle, the character from Hello Dolly, the movie that Wally was watching on the videotape in the Wally movie. And Cornelius Hackle is in Hello Dolly, played by Michael Crawford, who later went on to become, if not the first, one of the first Phantom of the Operas. So, yeah. But anyway, she fell in love with Wally there. He's a nice guy. He's a handyman. And they are currently engaged. And after, working on their relationship, because, I buying all these new packs that I didn't have before, with all these new relationship dynamics and everything, it's not as easy to just tell these stories anymore, because suddenly it's they're not really compatible. Oh, okay, well, I gotta fix that. You ain't changing my story. And say I realize that this episode may not have as much gameplay in it and all that. Then again, the last few episodes, we didn't really have a whole lot of that anyway. I mean, we kind of watched people do stuff. But I think this is important. I think once I have this, at least, I can refer back to this and just every once in a while let some new people see this and, you know, maybe they'll have a reason to kind of look back at some of the old episodes that they might have missed. Even if it's just, you know, kind of jumping through them. I mean, I don't expect anybody to ever watch 8 to 12 hours of my episodes back. You know, I mean, if you do, great. But me, I usually put my episodes on and put the volume low and then put myself to sleep with them. So, you know. And then I let them run while I go to work with the volume muted to act as a nightlight for my dog. You know, it doesn't actually do anything for my view time, though, because it's my computer watching them, so. You know, I'd almost have to get a separate account and watch them that way if I wanted to somehow cheat the view time. Well, it wouldn't be, you know, that wouldn't do me any good because it's not real. I've kind of enjoyed lately, you know, even though the views have kind of gone down a little bit, you know, some of the people who have been watching lately have been watching for, you know, quite a long time. And, you know, I'm enjoying that. I'm hoping I can get back to actually having something to watch. You know, if what I'm currently doing is not as watchable. Okay, beauty and hair. Her parents were never like a lot of parents. I'll tell you this much. There's a lot of parents out there that are never supportive, whether you're a male or a female, when you tell them you want to become a cosmetologist. Right away they think, oh, that's like, you know, people who can't get through school or something go do that job. Or, well, these days, you know, it's not like, you know, the movie Grease where it's like, you know, you'll be a dropout. Like, I mean, first of all, you have to either have a GED or an actual diploma in order to get a cosmetology license. At least at the moment. Now, a lot of states are trying to relax the rules and all that, or get rid of regular, get rid of licensing as it is, and pretty soon you're going to have a lot of people who don't know anything about any hair and scalp diseases doing hair. And a lot of people are going to be having a lot of problems because they'll be using dirty tools and crap. Because these states want to make it easier to get a job in the hair business. But, anyway, her parents were never supportive when she mentioned she wanted to be a cosmetologist. She was told, you can't make money in that job. And so was I when I was younger. And the truth is, as a licensed cosmetologist, yes, I could make money. My problem is I don't have the heart to charge enough to make the money. I don't want to charge $50 for something I still feel should, when I want to charge $25 and have that be enough. Are my haircuts worth $50? Yes, but I don't want to charge that much. Is my hair color worth $200? Yes, I don't want to charge that much. I'm too much of a humble person who's never had money to want to crave the money. And that's why I'm stuck working in a grocery store. Because I go to the grocery store, I work, I get paid, I come home. It's the same money unless I work overtime. And the grocery store doesn't cancel on you because they couldn't get a babysitter or, it's like, if I'm on the schedule, I show up, I put my finger on the time clock buttons, and I get paid. I hate the job. A lot of parts of it, especially that in a week we're going to be down to 3 people in an apartment that used to at one time have 7 people. But anyway, she went to college for journalism and became a writer. And now, after success at magazine, she has started apprenticing at a salon in Brindleton Bay. Alright, what's your mom's name? Carrie. Ah, yes, Carrie. Carrie, not the kind of girl you marry. That's me. Yeah, for these characters here, Cassandra Elaine is named after 2 ABBA songs. And then it just so happened that when randomly choosing the last name, it gave me powers. And back in the 80s, Elaine Powers was a chain of fitness gyms. So, I'm still chuckling over that, even though it's been, 94 episodes? It's like, yep, Cassandra Elaine Powers. But, recently when I was making the family members, I named her mother Carrie after another ABBA song. And the story is that her mother is kind of a foodie, is kind of lazy. She doesn't really work out. You know, and she's kind of depressed at times. And Cassandra's always, I don't know, judged her mother, like, based on that. Thinking that her mother is overweight and unhealthy, when in reality, the doctors who have ever checked out her mother have said she's fine. She's not overweight. She's healthy. Her heart's good. You know, she's got a good metabolism that keeps her from going overweight. She's lucky. She's able to just eat healthy. She's able to eat. She's able to eat big portions when she wants to, and it doesn't just settle in her hips or anything. You know, she got a little bit of chub, but nothing overboard. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. One of the things you'll notice from my gameplay when I make my Sims, I've rarely, I'm not saying I haven't, but I have rarely touched the body sliders. You know, I've made a lot of random Sims and you know, I'm not into toothpicks. Okay, I'm not into this, oh, you have to be a toothpick or the perfect skinny hourglass, or I'm not into that. If somebody's naturally that way, or, you know, they choose to work out and want that body and all that, fine, more power to them. But nobody should have to feel like they have to have those bodies. As somebody who, you know, has had my share of finishing off the potato chip bags and grabbing another, who the hell am I to judge anybody else? I'm a nobody, that's who. And so be it. She focuses so much on fitness because she believes that her mother has been overeating for years. I forget exactly what the original, like what I said when I created her, like why the mother is depressed, or, you know, maybe the father died, maybe, I forget what I actually said, but there's something there. Okay. I haven't really gone into what Cody Polar's family is yet. Then again, I think Cody was not in the house a couple episodes back when I started adding the family members. So that's probably why. I don't think I added a family member for her. Okay, Sweet Caroline. She is daughter of Neil Diamond. A different one. And Cracklin Rosie Diamond. Loves to cook and sing. Sing. Not. Well, maybe she likes sign language too, but I haven't. They need to add that to the game. That would be something where you learn sign language and can talk to each other in sign language. That would be cool. Of course, the only problem with that is people will be modding that, so they're always giving each other the finger. Not that they wouldn't do that already, but. Recently met, then got engaged to, and now married to Brooke Water Creek. A singer originally from Willow Creek. After meeting Caroline and now marrying her, will soon begin writing for the magazine as some sort of entertainment. Okay. So the only one we just got to figure out something for Cody, really. Oh, I didn't finish Cassandra. Recently, while at a gym researching new articles, she met a trainer named Marcus Flex, who helped her learn about the punching bags and boxing workouts. They are currently engaged. So yes, we have been working on these stories. And these are just my main characters. You know, there's all kinds of characters that I've made along the way. The fashion designers, the department store owner who also has an adoption foundation. We have the cosmetics company that also that never tests on animals, that also has a pet adoption foundation. Imagine that. They make foundations and they have a foundation. There's a foundation for that. And our modeling agency, the Flamingo Modeling Agency that Penny Pizzazz ended up working for, that kept her career going when she was thinking about quitting modeling early on. Yeah. You know, I like all the characters that I've come up with. It's a shame I can't play them all. You know, at some point it'd be nice if I could play like all the different families and do little things with them, and because I do like all my little backstories that I've came up with. So okay. Current interns at Beauty. Julia Wright is roommate. So that's how we have her as an intern. Originally, her and Becca, this Becca here, Becca Clark, they showed up one day early on as the sleepover guests. And just so happens that they're both college students, so I was like, okay, well, they're doing an internship. Because they were just kind of hanging out in the conference room while we were doing our, you know, maxing out our writing skill, making it look like we were writing articles and all that. And it was Julia who grabbed the bowl of peas out of the fridge that, you know, even though I already knew I was doing the peas article, it was her grabbing them out of the thing that got me thinking that that's like Caroline saw her do that and came up with the idea for the article. Early sleep over guest. Current roommate. College student slash yeah, we met her because it was weird because we had just met her at the lounge that's in Del Sol, downtown Del Sol. You know, the Hollywood area. Employee of Jocelyn Small Biz. Okay. All right, and then we have Mike House. Or Haas. We have Rocky Brewster. One of my first Sims 4 Sims. Who was a children's book writer turned gossip writer. So one of those could be a spy. For a little while, we had Dallas as a roommate, but I got sick and tired of the alien abductions because she turned out to be an alien. So I got rid of her. Now, we still have several Sims who we've given keys to, you know, so they can just show up whenever. We have Charlie Chambers.
Oh, Shade Simona Cerro. Bon and Gravi. Yibs. Oh, Yibs. Pimo.
Oh. That's right. It's not going to say because... Okay, she's the owner of CC Chambers Publishing. Okay. Charlie Chambers Publishing was the original publisher of So I think that's what we'll do. We'll just kind of keep this going. You know, that way people can kind of read this stuff a little bit. You know, nice to have an episode where I just who the characters are. It's kind of nice for me too to rehash some of this and remind myself how far we've come. There's Dallas. Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody else has met. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do this because I need to remember. I need to be able to see these names. And I can't rely on who's met who and... Okay, I'm really sorry, folks. I am really sorry. I'm really such a doofus sometimes. Alright, so I've been typing this for the past hour or so, whatever. Y'all have been staring at the thumbnail that I've made because I'm an idiot. You didn't miss much because this is all I was doing was typing all this stuff out. So, anyway, I'm going to leave that there for a second. And then we'll scroll. And then we'll scroll again. I'm sorry. I really hate when I do that. I'm just so... And again, that goes back to the fact that I'm tired and I can't concentrate on everything, and I hate making excuses for everything in my life, but It's the truth.